This is Talking My Walking. I am Rodrigo Ribeiro, and today I'm going to talk about nature, spirituality, human condition, society, and civilization. To me, uh, there is a connection between nature and spirituality. Um, I think because all my life, all my life, uh, I have I I I, I found um, in nature what I could not find anywhere else. Not in churches, not even in libraries, public libraries or other libraries, not anywhere else. Of course, I do understand that the perception I have about nature is cultural. So I do not. That's one. That's a that's a conceptualization. What I mean, we think that we know through some sort, that we understand things through some sort of only or feeling of or inspiration, uh, but it is always about there is always the cultural filter. Okay, I know that. I'm sure about that. So nature is not a paradise. Nature is everything. Uh, we we don't have now. I mean, we don't have, especially in many parts of Europe or basically all around Europe. There are not many animals that in the wilderness. Many animals in the wilderness that can cause a threat to us. But nature was never meant to be the paradise. Nature is exactly what it is in front of us, is life, with all its constraints, with its limits, its possibilities, its challenges. But nature is our real origins. I mean, I know there are several ideas out there that we are aliens. It's always that there are all kinds of, or several kinds of ideas about our origins, and I think most theories or speculations are, they don't go to the point. And the point to me is that we are here. We know that we are part of nature. We are not a virus. We do not. It is not that us. I don't care. Okay, again, I don't care where we came from. What matters is that we are here, and we are part of nature. This is where our resources come from. I hate this word. I know that's an ugly word. Not the word. The word is just a word. But all the meaning that is associated with it. So the idea of nature and spirituality to me, it's because here, this is not exactly where I am walking now, is not exactly wilderness, but okay, it's most of it is wild species, not all of them, but okay, it's a cool place. Most of what we need to survive comes from here. Nature includes clouds. Nature includes all the systems that all combined make the ecosphere. There is the gravity. There is the all everything that we are at kind of the perfect distance from the sun. It's everything. Nature is everything. Okay. So and that's what makes it when I'm here, I don't forget the sun. Don't forget that there is night and there is day. Now it's sunny, but I know without rain, these trees and this green could not exist. So nature is that what is present and what seems to be absent. So and we feel connected to these elements, not because there is anything perfect about them, not because it is paradise, because there is connection, there is identification, there is a feeling of belonging. Okay. And that is to me the essence of spirituality, because I believe that people trying to understand human nature as be nature. Okay, there is a physical nature and a spiritual nature. I think that's wrong. And that is not. That doesn't promote. I don't care. All major religion. All this. Okay, there is the self, and there is the spirit, and there is the soul, and there is this and that. Blah blah. Okay, everyone is free to believe whatever. So, I do not pretend to know, to be right. I just want to. I want to try to make it clear that that we probably would be more prepared to fight for an ecological, holistic, and even I could call it spiritual civilization if we would see nature as the source of everything. Because even if we believe that we are not nature, I mean, we are not physical beings. Nature is not only physics. It's energy. Is a complex system. Okay. Nature is not a unilateral system. It's a complex system. And you feel part of it, that we would think of it as our home, which means that we do not want to kill it, we do not want to destroy it. And we would be more willing to see life through different lenses. And by life, I mean our societal life, our assumptions of what society and the economy and civilization is and what it is for. And that is, I believe it is very important. It's not just some intellectual speculation, or there's a lot of difference. I mean, you can understand that I'm walking here, and what I feel here, what my body, my experience, my bodily experience, and and my spiritual experience, because that's exactly my point, is through my body, more bodily experience, that I have spiritual experience. It's not because I have something in me separated from it. There is not something in me, there is not a part of me that's inferior and another part that's superior. That's the wrong mentality to understand life, in my opinion. Because it's already, when we make these distinctions, this dualism, this dualistic perception about life, about what's up and down, it's already a framing that is, in my opinion, incorrect, and just leads us to wrong assumptions about life, about ourselves, about what actually spirituality should mean. Is there a reason why so many people fall so easily for cults, for people that are just abusers, opportunists, sociopaths and psychopaths, that they just are thinking about creating for themselves glory. They want to glorify themselves while they want to be rich and powerful and in control. That's not about saving anyone or cleaning anyone. They just ritualize. That's the idea of ritual and symbolism. It's to use that ability, that human ability, to use symbols and to invent and create rituals that then can become more important than the real thing. And the real thing is nature. I mean, we can build splendid marvels in artistic and architecture and engineering terms, but nevertheless we depend on nature. We still depend on rain. I mean, we can have all that technology, reverse osmosis to get our water from the sea, but that is not sustainable, because it always requires more energy. It always requires the use of more energy than what it gives back. That's the basis of our civilization, of this imperialistic civilization, and the technology supremacy, this technoscientism, this religion of technoscientism. It's about that. It's this always taking more then it gives back. That's why we need to create waste. That's why we are not following the laws of nature. We understand the laws of nature, but the use we give them is wrong. And if we believe that and many people go save money to go to exotic places, to so-called spiritual retreats, where again the ritual is very important, and people can believe they can bring change in their life through a short period, and exotic experiences, experiences that are out of the ordinary, so they can be seen and perceived and even felt as extraordinary experiences. Because we can prepare ourselves for those delusions. We can really, it's very easy for us to prepare ourselves to accept delusion as reality. That's something we need to understand. We all, I'm stating these words because I understand it as is not because I am superior to it. It's just because I try to understand the human condition. I do not pretend to own the truth. But the one thing I pretend, that I try hard to understand, to be fair in my, I try to be intellectually honest. I mean, I'm aware that human beings are flawed. So, and I'm aware of my limits, and I know that this is a process. That's why I want people to understand, if whoever who eventually stumbles upon my words or my work or whatever you want to call it, they need to understand that this is a process, and this process is not about me. It's not about the relevance of, because what I'm trying to reasoning about, to my analysis, my whatever, my speculations, if you will, it's just an attempt to understand, an attempt to see through the layers of propaganda, the layers of deceit that and these layers, it's not just contemporary layers, it's the layers that have been built through centuries of imperialist civilization. And I'm not only talking about the supremacy of 5 or almost 6 centuries of Western supremacy, European supremacy. I'm talking about, in general, that we are so much influenced by the imperialistic mentality. We always talk about empires as as the forces that push humanity forward. That again, that we make it sound that it is superior, and it is not. It's not, because we can create, we can invent technologies, we can develop technologies, we can do scientific research, we can acquire knowledge, and then, of course, we can, if we have better technologies, we can control other peoples. That has been always, but we do it in the name of whom? It is always about a few, or sometimes even one person or one family. Never a single person or family can do it, but let's think that we can make it sound like that. And this is always about division, perception manipulation, the hierarchization, which means that it's also part of the game, that I fulfill a role, okay, or I have a function. I am a cog in the machine. Therefore, I am not responsible because I receive orders from above. So this culture of that we do not need to feel responsible for our acts, because we are just following orders, and because we need to provide for us and for our families, just is a good excuse for us for becoming dehumanized. And that's this that we do not see, just because we have the belief. I mean, we just assume, okay, and justify that in the name of civilization, and by civilization we mean education, organized religion, architecture, arts, painting, music, and the most influential one, that is the one responsible to colonize our mind during the 20th century. It was movies, infotainment, mass media, legacy media, advertisement, which means public relations. Basically, Madison Avenue. So, and then we believe in this dualistic vision of the world, this separation between nature, on one side, spirituality, nature, civilization, and we do not see, or we do not want to see, that actually that separation doesn't exist. There is no separation. Civilization exists on the top of nature, okay? It doesn't exist outside of nature. And civilization needs to be part of nature, which means that we cannot create a system that is just to take things, to take resources, to use everything, to believe, even believe that we own the right, we have the right to exploit everything, to change, to transform, and in the name of development, in the name of economic growth, in the name of... But it's not about that, because, again, economic development is not the same thing as economic growth. We can have economic growth in many countries. There are economic growth, and there is no economic development, because most of the society, most people do not really profit, do not really see changes in their lives. Sometimes even they see their lives much worse. Why? Because economic development through the capitalist lens, it's about enclosure of the commons, it's about maximization of profit and private property and proprietary rights above anything else. Therefore, many people just are left behind, and that as a sin, as if they don't count. They are externalities, because people, sometimes we don't think about that, but as nature in economics, in the orthodox economics or neoclassic economics, as nature has been seen as an externality, human beings have also been seen as externalities, as an inconvenience. So they are an inconvenience, they are just ignored, as if they do not mind. And of course, for the purpose of economics, they don't mind, because the purpose of economics is not about economic development, it's about exploitation. It's about accumulation of wealth. It's about control and power. It's not about free markets. It's not about... And with the financialization of the economy, or financial economy, rentier economy, as we can call it accurately, it is just an absurdity, but we seem all to buy into it. And this just changes us, changes how we perceive ourselves, how we perceive and build our relations, because everything is commodified. Relations are commodified, and therefore we all just behave accordingly, because this is our human nature and condition as social beings. We have to adjust ourselves to the values and principles and laws and rules that control our life, that is part of the indoctrination process, which we call education. It's fine. It's not an education to be free. We talk a lot about freedom and democracy, but we do not have an education or an indoctrination system that is actually to give us more agency, political, economic, social and cultural, and do not to reinforce our social bonds for the collective good, not because it's not important our personal freedoms, but by reinforcing the collective good, by reinforcing our feeling that we belong to society, that we do not feel lost, we do not feel isolated, we do not feel atomized, and we do not live in permanent uncertainty and helplessness. We can really enjoy the freedom that we all talk about, but we do not have. That's why we need these fake spiritual experiences that we want to feel as genuine, because we need them. And when we go out in a walk in nature, or you go to observe, we most of the time go collectively. You go in a group, and that's nothing wrong with going, enjoying it in a group. The problem is the connection. We bring our electronic devices, our photo apparatus, and our mobile phones. What do? We take pictures, we make movies. Are we there? Are we really there? Do you really think about connection? Do you really think about unity instead of division yeah, what do we really feel? What do we think? We like the experience. Of course we like the experience, we enjoy it, it's different, we paid for it. That's another aspect. It's the commodification of everything. You don't even enjoy, because the aspect, the commodification, the experience is already a commodified experience, which makes it it takes the pleasure away to some extent, because you can feel that you are not having a genuine experience. You may try to abstract yourself from it, but in the end, we know, we can, deep inside us, we know that it's a kind of fake experience. When we go into to places, unusual places, for unusual experiences, which should be unique. But all experiences are relational. It's about connection. It's about deep understanding. It's about an holistic relation. It's a process. It's not episodic. It's not just an episode in our lives. It needs to be a process. And by process, I mean it needs to be something that we take seriously. Not just as a vacation. Not just as because we believe that we are going to achieve something because we bought that experience. Never forget that you bought it. You paid for it. And we actually do not need and should not need to pay to enjoy spiritual experiences. It is our society, it is our economic system, it is our political economics, our political economy that needs to be spiritual. The values need to be enshrined in the laws of economics. Because, as I used to say, and I think it's clear that for every person, most people will behave, will follow what the rewarding system. That's why we have penalties. The reason we have penalties is just to make us more responsible, and to pay, to have a material penalty on when we misbehave. So what we reward, that's what we get. When we do not see ourselves as humanized human beings, we are sophisticated, we are educated, we know, we have so many abilities, tech abilities. We got the proper use for our, what's the name of the big finger, which I don't remember right now, in the one we use to text. Okay, so that seems that we now finally found the proper use for those two fingers that are supposed to distinguish us from the other species, that opposed finger we have in our hands. So that is so what we need to have these topics on the table, I know I am a voice in the wilderness. I know that for long ago. Because it's not easy. But nevertheless, I do think that we all have something to give, to share. And I do not believe in leaders. Because even the best leaders, even the best people, they always need our support. They need our participation. They need the responsibility. The demos needs to be responsible, needs to have agency, not as a right, but as a duty. Political agency, economic, social, and cultural are not only a right, it is a duty. It needs to become part of it needs to be part of the education, but not, because we need to be indoctrinated to be full citizens of a society, not to have others representing us. That's why when people are talking about solutions, I don't see any solution unless we create a culture and a society and an economy that where we are educated to be responsible for the society, for the economy. Because we cannot, and this is a point that to me is fulcral, that we cannot allow the society to be taken over, by the worst among us, the worst people among us. And that's what we have been doing for a very long time, for millennia actually. Because then the system, and that's why it perpetuates itself. Because when you create an indoctrinating system that indoctrinates people and uses violence and all means necessary to make people comply and obey, we have people under the pressure of blind obedience in one side, blind faith, and in the other side, violent means to make us obey in a structure that even like in the caste system, where you even you are poor and you are destitute in this life because you have been behaving bad in the other life. What a nice justification, isn't it? It's perfect. It's perfect. It's just perfect. So, and there are millions of people buying into it instead of finding it horrible and disgusting. So the age of the common man that understands and understands that is part of nature, and spirituality is something tangible. It has to be part of the ordinary life. It has to be part of the economy. That age is what we need to build. Because we are, according to many, we are living in the Anthropocene. But what explains the Anthropocene is the Capitalocene. So we need to understand both Capitalocene and Anthropocene in order to think, to design and implement an economic system, a society and a civilization that finally is ruled by the common man. I do not say the workers. It's not about the workers. It's not about it's not because it's not about the proletariat, let's put it this way. It's about the common man. Since birth to death. That's what we need to have. A civilization of the common man. And by common man, I am inclusive, okay? It's men, women, and whoever. I just ordinary citizen. That's what I mean by that. So this is that is all for today. Thanks for listening, and I will be back soon.